Hello there, dear viewers. I'd just like to mention before the video begins that I am well aware that a lot of people on the internet are
Bunch of big softies
about the differences between the English and American language, so for the purpose of this video, to avoid football-soccer controversies, I am going to refer to the sport as feet game, and you're going to deal with it. Alright, let's get into the video. Back when I was a wee young lad, I participated in a feet game club because at the time I wanted to play it because, well, it was an extremely popular game. So I was in this club for a few weeks or so and I enjoyed it, all things considered, until one day disaster struck. I fell over and hurt myself, and because poor little Owino was scared of getting hurt again, the coach moved me into a younger group. But I never found much enjoyment there after that, so I quit. And ever since then, I've had no interest in any sport. In fact, whenever we would play feet game in PE at school, I would just stand in the corner, being completely useless, because I had no interest in kicking a ball around a field. So anyway, years pass and eventually I get into a genre known as anime. You might not have heard of it. And I quickly learned about the existence of sports anime, such as Haikyuu and Blue Lock. But I never thought I'd watch any because, as I said, I have no interest in sports, and they just seemed kind of pointless to me because why watch fictional sport when you can watch real sport, right? Well, this was my mindset until quite recently, as in my 700 episodes into One Piece video, I announced my Discord server.
A Discord server was also suggested, so I made one. Now bear in mind, I have no idea what I'm doing with this, so it's probably really shit, but it'll be nice to have a little community space, so the link will be in the description.
It's also in the description of this video, so you should totally click it and stuff. That would be epic. How that went was another topic, so I'm not going to talk about it. However, a certain user on my server, formerly known as Madrid Kid, kept telling me over and over to watch Blue Lock. But I had no intention of doing so, until one day I was streaming Phasmophobia on my channel when this happened.
You donated $2 to make me watch Blue Lock. You know what, maybe I'll do a video watching Blue Lock to make you happy, seeing as you donated $2.
So reluctantly I started watching Blue Lock. And for the first 6 episodes, sure, it was better than I expected, but I didn't really think much of it at the time, and I slowly trudged through it. That was until I watched episode 7. And I absolutely loved it. I'll get to what I admire so much about this anime later, but I ended up binging up to episode 22 in 2 days. Then I slowly trudged to the first episode of season 2, until a few days ago I thought, might as well just get it done, so I binged the rest in another 2 days. So, what did I think? Well, first, I think we need to establish what Blue Lock is actually about for those of you who haven't seen it. Blue Lock follows protagonist Yoichi Isagi, a young man who dreams of one day making it to the big leagues. And one day, he gets selected to partake in the Blue Lock Project. Basically, what the Blue Lock Project is, it's a series of challenges the contestants have to partake in to improve their feet game skills, and if any of them fail said challenges, they get booted out. It's kind of like Squid Game, except not as bloody. For the first segment of the challenges, all the contestants are put in teams and ranked from worst to best. So Isagi, being the typical underdog protagonist, gets the lowest rating out of everyone and is put in Team Z along with Ichigo from Bleach, Connie from Attack on Titan, Noritoshi Kama from Jujutsu Kaisen, a femboy, a schizo, and other forgettable side characters. Most of season 1 is about Team Z playing against other teams and finding the missing piece within them to overcome the enemy players. Now personally, I really enjoyed most of the characters' stories and personalities. They were definitely the highlight of the anime. My personal favourite was Chigiri, the femboy, because his story is he fractured his leg playing feet game and was told that if he injures the same spot again, he will never be able to play feet game again. And because Chigiri's strong point is his speed, his arc in season 1 is all about getting over the fear of crippling himself and giving it his all. Another character whose story I really liked was Bachira, the schizo. The reason I call him a schizo is because his story is all about how as a child he took feet game incredibly seriously and none of the other kids wanted to play with him. So he invented an imaginary friend, of which he named the Monster. But through Blue Lock, he finds people who he has fun playing with for the first time, and he wants them to recognize him. Now, when I went into Blue Lock, I very much expected it to be fast-paced and action-packed. However, it more focuses on the strategy and finding the missing piece, which is a metaphor used a lot in the show. There is a lot of internal monologuing, like a lot, which you'd probably expect to be a bad thing, but honestly, it just made it a whole lot more investing. Especially when a character is about to score a goal or something like that, because half the time they succeed and half the time they don't, which makes it so unpredictable. And with the excessive monologuing, it slows the action down and gets you so invested in whether their plan will succeed or not. I don't really think I can give it justice through words, but you'll see what I mean if you do decide to watch it, or you already know what I mean if you have. Moving on to Season 2. The whole prospect of Season 2 is at the end of Phase 1 of the Blue Lock project, once the remaining contestants prove their worth, Ego forms the Blue Lock 11. For context, Ego is the guy that set up Blue Lock and runs the whole thing. I kind of just realised I didn't mention that before, but yeah, he's just the man pulling the strings on the whole project. I also kind of want to quickly mention that he has a very good character design. I like how just purposefully stupid he looks, I guess. And he gets a swagger suit in Season 2. Oh my days. With the best of the best players from the program. And they go off to play against the U20 Japan. I know I already lazed how investing Season 1 is, but Season 2 had me hitting this pose. You don't see me hitting this often. Anyways, the highlight characters of Season 2 are the Itoshi brothers and the freaky guy. And Nagi. I forgot to mention Nagi, so I'm just going to quickly go over him. His whole thing is he's really good at controlling the ball mid-air and shit like that. He was part of one of my favorite scenes in the whole anime. It was super epic, and when I say I was genuinely considering setting that one screenshot as my desktop wallpaper, I never thought I'd say that about Blue Lock in my life, but I guess things change. But that was an incredible scene. And the freaky guy. Yes, I call him that for a very good reason. Because let's just say he uses egg fertilization as a metaphor for scoring a goal. Yeah. Also, he says this. Anyway, moving on from that guy. The Itoshi brothers dynamic was a great little plot point, and it made the last 2 episodes even more incredible. Those last 2 episodes of Season 2 were so good, I had to change my pants every 5 minutes, because holy. Now to address the critique of Season 2 being a PowerPoint presentation. Honestly, I think it's slightly over-exaggerated how bad it really is. Yes, it's very prominent and quite frequent, but it's not enough to take you out of the experience. It still has impact. And I'm surprised people are complaining about that more than the CGI, because oh boy is that awful. Okay, I swear this is the last time editing me is gonna butt in, but I kind of just want to clarify that it sounds like I'm defending the whole PowerPoint slide animation. I'm not. I'm just saying it's not bad. Obviously it would be better if it wasn't there. It's just not terrible. I get it. I get the hate about it. Totally. The fans had a right to be pissed off about it, but personally it didn't bug me too much, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. As far as openings go, I didn't really like opening 1 at first, but it grew on me greatly. Opening 2 is absolute peak, and opening 3 is mid as shit. One thing I will say that I didn't quite like in the anime is that the main character is definitely not one of the strongest, which is a problem in a few anime, yeah, but it kind of really sticks out in this one because most of the time we spend, with all the monologuing and shit like that, it's mostly Isagi. But he's not a bad character by any means, he's kind of like Yuji Itadori. He's an alright character, but, there's better characters, he's just not the best, So yeah, that's my only gripe about it, I guess. So overall, I ended up enjoying Blue Lock a lot more than I expected, and would recommend it, even if you're not into feet game, especially if you like good characters in anime. It's quite short, Season 1 is 24 episodes and Season 2 is only 14, so a quick watch and well worth it. It also has a good English dub, which can't really be said about most anime, so that's another good factor. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Blue Lock. If you watch it or have seen it, let me know what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, join the Discord and all that jazz, and I'll see you in another video.